From the Louisiana Superdome and the Class A state championship, it's the District 7 11-2 Kentwood Kangaroos taking on the Oak Grove Tigers from District 2. The champions there are 13-0. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Gerald Duhon along with Renee Nato. And Renee, we saw the seeding system go into place for the first time this year in the LHSAA, and we end up in single A with a top seed and a number 2 seed. Oak Grove, the top seed, Kentwood, the number 2 seed. It'll be decided on the field of play here today.
And as far as Kentwood is concerned, world-famous rock star Britney Spears and Kentwood native is not here today, but all others are in attendance, and the Kentwood Kangaroos have a lot of contingent here today with them today. 32.6 points per game for that offense, but a lot may be on defense. They're looking for their 3rd straight title, very methodical, but on defense, number 7, Seric Johnson. You know, he's a two-way performer. He really lays it out, does a great job on defense, and you hear his name quite often. He loves collisions. There'll be a lot of them.
And that senior will look to play somewhere next fall on Saturday afternoons, as he's playing on a Saturday afternoon here in his final game as a high school player. When you go over to the other side of the ball and talk about Oak Grove, you can talk offense there. They've got an outstanding tailback.
Execution is the main thing here. That defense is only allowing 6 points per game, but the guy on offense you have to watch is number 22, Kevin Touchdown Brown. He's got over 2,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, Gerald, and the amazing thing here is he's only averaging 11 carries per outing. Amazing. Kevin Brown, watch for him.
Well, for Kentwood, there are the 2-time defending state champs in Class A. Well, for Oak Grove, they were here 2 years ago in Class AA, lost to Ouachita Christian, but they've got 8 seniors on their team this year that were on that squad, so a lot of seasoned players in this single A state championship game. We look for a high-scoring affair. Both teams have posted gaudy numbers throughout the regular season and in the playoffs. Kickoff is right around the corner in this Gatorade Superdome Classic.
All right, first of all, I'd like to congratulate y'all for making it to the final game in the Superdome. Y'all been chosen as captains for tonight's game, so we expect y'all to be the leaders out here, okay? We want y'all to lead by example. Play good, hard football within the rules. Okay, if I have a penalty, I'll call for either a white captain or a black captain. Nearest captain come up to me and I'll give you your option. I'll give you the most obvious choice first. Listen to me. If you don't understand what I explained to you, ask me to repeat it, and I'll repeat as many times as it takes. But once you've made the decision, it's final, and you can't change your mind. Everybody understand that? Okay, and that starts at the coin toss. White, your visitors, you have the choice of the coin toss. There's heads, tails. Call it while it's in the air. If I drop it, we will flip it again. Okay, he called heads. It is tails. So black, you've won the toss. He defers, you want the ball. Which goal you want to defend? That's for you. Okay, blacks, put your go. Got it. White, this way. All right, blacks won the toss. They deferred, and I'm kicking off. Good luck, fellas.
Oak Grove wins your toss. Deferred to the second half.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 1999 Gatorade Superdome Classic. Tonight's matchup will feature first the visiting team from District 7 with a record of 11-2, the Kentwood Kangaroos. And the home team from District 2 with a record of 13-0, the Oak Grove Tigers. Would everyone please stand for the invocation to be delivered by Mr. Keith Alexander, former LHSAA Executive Committee representative.
May we pray. Our Father, for the many blessings and ours to enjoy this beautiful Lord's Day already, we give you the thanks and praise. Father, we are thankful that we live in such a land that we can enjoy athletic events and assemblies such as this one. Father, our prayer would be for the safety of the players today, for the coaches as they lead, and for the officials as they administer the rules of the game, and Father, our main prayer would be that we would show great sportsmanship today, this weekend, and that we'd be the kind of Christian witnesses that you would have us to be. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Would everyone remain standing for the playing of the national anthem to be performed by Miss Ashley Rye, a sophomore from Oak Grove High School.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, you turn your attention to midfield for the presentation of the LHSAA Sports Care Coaches Awards. Representing Sports Care of Louisiana, Mr. Ty Henry. The first 1999 Coaches Award goes to Kentwood High School head coach David Correa. The next award goes to Oak Grove High School head coach Vic Dalrymple. The Louisiana High School Athletic Association thanks Sports Care of Louisiana, the official health care network. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Kangaroos and the Tigers in the 1A state championship game. Are you ready to rumble?
And the 1A state final game is underway. The Kangaroos in white will begin this contest. Just past their 30-yard line, up around the 33-yard line. Alfred Ard, one of the stars of Kentwood's state championship win last year against St. John, returns that kickoff 15 yards, and we'll see the Roos offense first in this contest.
Kentwood runs a lot of that double slot, one back, power back, do a lot of different options on offense.
Shedrick McKnight, the the senior quarterback beneath center. Misdirection play going right, and that's Mitch Winters, the senior wingback, and he'll pick up a few. Gavin Cato there for the stop for the Tigers out of Oak Grove. Actually, it'll be closer to a 4-yard pickup, 2nd and 6.
You know, he was an all-district as a sophomore. The quarterback hands off right here, coming around the outside. That's Mitch Winters, and Winters with that 4.5 speed. A lot of team speed, offense and defense for the Roos.
Back the other way, and a lot of black jerseys there. Sarek Johnson on the carry, and Cato there again for the stop. That'll be no gain on the play, so it'll be 3rd down. And you mentioned the team speed, Renee. Both of these teams have posted a lot of numbers during the season in both the playoffs and regular season, scoring a lot of points. One would think this would be a high-scoring game looking at it from the offenses these two teams have. Look out, wanting to throw, underthrown, and incomplete. Closest man to the ball there was Eric Newman. It was intended down the field for Johnson, and it'll be 4th down, and Kentwood will be forced to kick.
All-out blitz there, and a little pressure coming from the inside as number 5 shooting the gap, Boyd Dalrymple, and also a lot of pressure from Ryan Gregory. Ryan Gregory, just a sophomore, Gerald, 6 feet, 274, 83 stops on the season, and he is going to be an all-state performer before it's all over with. What a great kid he is. Good future.
The punt by the Roos is gathered in by Newman. He'll elude the punter who came up to try to make the play. That was Alfred Ard. And get up past the 40, up to almost the 42-yard line. Good return by Eric Newman. An 11-yard spectacular return after the 33-yard kick.
This young man was a starter as a freshman. He's got great moves. Not the fastest, Gerald. 4.7 speed. But look at his feet. Those feet are moving the whole time. And he doesn't stop to give an opportunity to take a shot at him. He had about 7 white jerseys. That 6, 7, 8, 9 right there. 10 before they finally brought him to the Superdome turf.
Chris Stevens, your quarterback for Oak Grove. Of course, Kevin Brown, the feature back in this offense. And that'll be Matt House beginning the Tigers' offensive fortune here this afternoon with a 1-yard run.
And Matt House is a guy. Kevin Brown is the man. We're going to talk a lot about him. Talked about him in pregame. Matt House is a great fullback, 5'10", 178. Not a big fellow, but he plays a lot bigger than the program size.
Look out, nowhere to go that time for Stevens. He'll be brought down by Deshaun Lee before he can get to the line of scrimmage. So Oak Grove struggling offensively, and of course I had opened up my big mouth and say we'd see a lot of offense here today, and each team somewhat struggling here early on offense.
You see number 44, that's Ramon Robinson, kind of flushes him outside, and Deshaun Lee, for the most part, they stay away from his side. He's a left defensive end, and most teams run the other way. He'll track you down for 6'3", 205, 4.740.
Brown on the flare-out pass. He'll get close to the 1st down, but appears to be short. Brown was the deep back in that full house backfield set. And Stevens flared it out for him. Desmond McKnight finally escorting Brown out of bounds.
Show you how explosive Kevin Brown is, Gerald. Little flip pass out here from Stevens to Brown and let him do the dirty work. 4.5 speed. He scored 67 touchdowns in a 42-game career. Unbelievable. And keep in mind the numbers he's put up. Only 11 carries he averages per game.
Stevens' punt is a high one that Mitch Winters will gather in at the 15. Look out. He's picking his blocks. A flag goes flying down very late. This one will come back. That was a 31-yard kick. A 19-yard return, but it'll be coming back. You can see how this one's developing.
And Mitch Winters, a dangerous return specialist, just overran the pursuit overran him, and he got away from most of the black jerseys. They corralled him down the field, but it's going to come back. Shows you what kind of explosive power he has. You know, he is He was 1-2 in the state long jump with Demetrius Hookfin. In fact, that's his cousin who now performs for the LSU Tigers. Second year in the state in triple jump with a leap of 45 feet 7 inches. Of course, we mentioned he was 1-2 with Demetrius Hookfin with a long jump of 23.2. He's got some tremendous spring in his legs. Got a 38-inch vertical jump. He's explosive.
McKnight from his own 9-yard line. Hands it off, straight through is Mac Garrett. Garrett, 240, the senior, stands at 5'10". And tough running on the inside will net 6 yards.
Good leg drive, just base blocking right up front. Nothing spectacular. Fighting off that block once again. Good play by Ryan Gregory. Kind of fills the hole right there, but Mac Garrett's quite a load at 240. He's a mini bus coming at you, and well, I'll tell you what, he'll unload. Good leg drive.
McKnight feeling some pressure. Looking downfield's got a man, and it's going to be picked off. Jim Densmore coming up with the interception. The ball intended for Winners. McKnight had it underthrown, and Desmond had excellent coverage on the play to come down with the first interception of this game.
Densmore mans that strong safety position. He's in man coverage right here, Gerald. And the thing about strong safety, in most defenses, a strong safety will come up and play much like a linebacker. He's more of a coverage safety. Comes up with a big stop right here as he comes up with a pick for the Oak Grove Tigers.
Stevens, look out, wants to get it out to Brown, and you just see the strength of Brown. He was met there in the open field and shedded a tackler and picked up another 3 or 4 yards. He's a good athlete.
Yeah, Vic Dalrymple, coach of the Tigers, said he's the best he's ever seen. Bench presses 320 pounds, and you want to isolate him with a defensive back or maybe a strong safety or even a linebacker. It's a mismatch. He's got so much speed for the linebackers and too much strength for a DB.
House on the inside. Looks like he's got the first down. If he would, it'd be our first of the game. And he does.
And these black jerseys are just leaning on Kentwood and pushing them forward. Good surge, good block right there up front by John Allen. 5'10", 277-pound left guard. Gives him a good crease to run in, and House picks up the first down.
House again. This time will gain a tough single yard. You mentioned Vic Dalrymple, head coach of Oak Grove. In his 19th season, have the Tigers here at the Dome for the 3rd time. He is 13-0 this season. David Career over at Kentwood in his 12th season, going for his 3rd consecutive state title. The Roos are 11-2 this year.
And Coach Career has made 3 trips here, coming away with a couple of state titles. Looking for another one in Oak Grove, who's been on single A, double A level, and they are forced to be reckoned with 50 points per outing.
Stevens looking for Cato. Incomplete.
Cato runs it out, and Chris Stevens just draws a beat on him. Trying to find his mark. Just fell down. That turf snake got him. Cato with 4.5 speed. He's got Northeast Louisiana and Louisiana Tech after his services. Just fell down before the ball arrived. Had he not, he made the catch. He's got 24 snares for 687 yards. That gives him an average of 28 yards per grab.
Option, Cato coming back to the near side. He'll be dropped short of the 30 and well shy of the first down. Desmond McKnight coming up to make the stop. And we'll see what Coach Dalrymple elects to do here with about 4th and 5 just outside of the Roo 30-yard line.
Crashing in from the outside, Deshaun Lee, making sure he pitches the ball. Good kick out right here as a good block by Justin Bowman allows Cato to get up the field. And you know, Cato, Gerald, is the #1 in the state in the 200 meters, so you don't want to see him isolated in the open field.
Brown with the ball. He's got some green. Look out. First down and more. He's going to score, but there is a flag on the play. Wow, look at that acceleration. So he made it into the end zone. A 30-yard run. Ard for Kentwood had the angle on him, but Brown really turned on those afterburners, and this one may be a clip and coming back. Let's see. But man, everybody knew that Brown was going to get it. That's the guy you wanted to have it on 4th down. What athleticism.
Touchdown, Brown. He gets the ball in full stride, and he's running away from Sherrick Johnson. And
good block there. Took out 3 guys.
And Desmond McKnight allows him to scoot along the left sideline for a touchdown. We'll see a couple more plays like that before the evening's over, I'm sure. But he's got some explosive power. 4.5 speed, and we mentioned 36 touchdowns on the campaign.
Well, Renee, that clip was a big one because it's going to cost Oak Grove 15 yards, and now instead of a touchdown, they're going to punt away to Kentwood. Stevens the punt. Winters awaits, calls for the fair catch, and makes it right at the 10-yard line. So Oak Grove has had the advantage early in this one after the 31-yard punt with field position. Kentwood has been sewn up in its own backyard, so to speak, early in this first quarter as we're scoreless with 5:49 left in the first stanza.
Well, you know, the only one from Kentwood who's not in attendance is Britney Spears, rock star. Everyone else, I think they closed up shop, rolled up the sidewalks, and they're here. So the Roos have a tremendous contingent of support here at the Dome. I wish Britney was here.
McKnight looking deep down the field and overthrows his intended receiver. That was Ard streaking down the sidelines. Good coverage once again. This time applying the brakes, Mario Jones, the quarterback. And I tell you, Renee, early on, the Tigers have shown some pretty good defensive back work.
Yeah, they do. The Tigers have some great athletes in the backfield. They employ a pair of cornerbacks, a pair of free safeties, and the strong safety, Jim Dunsmore. And in essence, you're talking about a 5-man, a nickel situation there, and they play that pretty consistently.
Sweep to the far side. Winters is stiffly met on the play. There's Cato again. He's very active from his free safety spot. Came up to make that stop right there after a nominal gain, and Kentwood will have 3rd and long.
And Cato, you know, he runs that option well in offense, but he's the leading tackler from his free safety position. He'll probably be a cornerback on the next level, and he's got some suitors, Northeast Louisiana and Louisiana Tech after him. That 4.5 speed, does a great job and comes up and fills pretty well, and pretty heady player, this senior.
McKnight surveys the line. Here comes Oak Grove on the blitz. He'll roll out under pressure. Toss the ball down the field. He's got an open man. Makes the catch up at the 45-yard line. Mitch Winters there to haul it in. A 27-yard pickup. Not bad coverage once again from Oak Grove, but an excellent play by Mitch Winters to go up and get the ball.
Mitch Winters did exactly that. He went up with that 38-inch vertical jump. We talked about his long jump ability and his stride and leg strength. He goes up and just takes it away. You're not going to out-jump him, and comes down with it. And the 5'8", 170-pound senior with interest from Grambling, Northwest Louisiana, Northeast Southern, and Nicholls State is really an explosive player on offense and defense.
Sweeping right. That's Winters. He'll be run out of bounds at about the 49-yard line. Mario Jones there. Cornerback on that side pushes him out.
He comes from that left wing. He's got 582 yards on the season, and looks like he may be a little shaken up as McKnight hands off to Winters with an entourage around the right side. Runs away from pursuit. He's got 9 scores, and every time he touches the ball on offense as a running back, he averages 7.3 yards per tote.
2nd and 5. McKnight with the ball, feeling some pressure. Now he'll let it rip and throw the ball away. Or did they completed that ball? Gee whiz, who came up with that? Is that Ard over there? Sure is. What a catch. I thought he was throwing that ball away. It's going to be just shy of the 1st down marker.
Pressure coming from number 78. Unbelievable. Ryan Gregory again flushing him out of the pocket. Good block right there on the weak side. It allows him to complete the pass. It's 3rd and short, and McKnight has a drive here.
Sure does, and we talked about Kentwood's poor field position. They've taken care of that. They're in Oak Grove territory. McKnight will pick up the 1st down. as he goes forward. So even if this drive would end right now, and they'd have to put it away, Oak Grove would be pinned back deep in their own territory. So field position very important. We spoke once again at the beginning of the telecast about the high-scoring offenses here. We're still scoreless as the first quarter has 4 minutes left in it.
Kentwood averaging 32.6, Oak Grove 50 points a game. You know, you're talking about two high-power teams and two defenses that usually don't allow too many points either, so it's quite a test.
McKnight, look out. Loses the ball. I think the Roos have recovered. Dion Burrell there. No check it. Oak Grove coming up with the fumble recovery. Josh Brown getting the ball.
And Dion Burrell comes pouring in from the outside from his right defensive end. He's got 15 sacks, make it 16 on the season. And Gerald, he had 4 sacks in one game. He comes flying from the outside with a 4.6 speed and pops the ball loose and gives Coach Vic Dalrymple and his staff an opportunity here at the 41-yard line of Kentwood.
Check that. I think Ryan Johnson, the man coming up with that fumble, number 21. Roos want to talk about it. They'll take a timeout with 3:50 left here in the first quarter as you look at the fumble again.
And it's not much they could do about it. It looked like they had a chance. The Roos had a chance to come up with it with Deshaun Lee, but couldn't come up with it. And Oak Grove has fine field position as they huddle at midfield.
Single A state championship. It's scoreless here at the Gatorade Superdome Classic. Well, a touchdown pass is complete from Eric Newman. From Chris Stevens. Newman wide open in the end zone, streaking down the middle of the field. Let's take a look at it.
And the southpaw, Stevens just airs it out and lets Eric Newman run underneath it. A 41-yard touchdown completion, and he beats the coverage deep as they couldn't stay with Newman, and the speedster, Justice Southmore, outran the coverage. And I'll tell you what, big play here for the Tigers.
Willie Pep Miller's extra point is up and good, and boom, just like that, we find some offense. It comes from the Oak Grove Tigers with 3:42 left here in the first quarter. They take the 7-0 lead.
Big play by Stevens. You know, Stevens, a left-hander. He started the first 5 games as a freshman, hurt his foot, missed a lot of time. He's come back, and he's completed 50% of his tosses for 1,220 yards. He's pretty potent. He's 3 out of 4 thus far for 57 yards on the game.
Which is pretty good. Big play potential there out of the timeout. Kentwood took it. I'm sure Oak Grove had a chance to draw that play up and come out and run it. After the big fumble recovery, they answer immediately after one play, so the turnover netting points for the Oak Grove Tigers.
We know Stevens was as a sophomore and junior, Gerald. He served as a cornerback before switching back to his natural position at quarterback that he played as a freshman.
Pep Miller's kickoff comes down. A 7-yard return. Gee whiz, I think the tee he was kicking off went further than anything else.
That's what low tigress is.
Is that what they're called? Is that the
tigress? Look it up in a dictionary.
And more than one is a tigress is.
Sarek Johnson, who mans the right wing position, also a linebacker, committed to LSU, number 7, returns that kick. And boy, I tell you, they're looking forward to him arrival in Baton Rouge if he sticks to his commitment. 4.5, 5.40. Total package. Probably will play strong safety for the Tigers or at the next level.
Shedrick McKnight had Kentwood moving last drive before the fumble. This handoff coming to Daryl Cooper. And he'll get wrapped up after a very nominal gain.
And coming up to fill is Densmore. Look at this. This is the way a strong safety comes up and fills, recognizes where the run is going to be, and comes up and just sells out and fills that gap. Did a good job. You see right in the middle of Boyd, Dalrymple, defensive captain, number 5. He's the lone linebacker, what they call a linebacker in this defense.
Look out, deep pass, McKnight overshooting Ard down on the far side. You know, Renee, we talked about Alfred Ard to earlier on in his heroics last year in this state championship game, intercepting 3 passes, returning 2 for touchdowns in Kentwood's 48-0 demolition of St. John's.
Remember it very well, and boy, he's got some explosive, runs a streak down the field, and just can't keep with him. Mario Jones good with the defense, and Ard with that 4.45 speed has Tulane, McNeese, Nichols, and Northwest Louisiana interested in his services.
McKnight on 3rd and 9, wrapped up, throws the ball away, and he'll be dropped down in the backfield. Pressure that time by Boyd Dalrymple, who was pouring through. The middle linebacker creating havoc back there, and the Roos will be forced to punt.
And like we said, they employ just a single linebacker. He plays in the middle, Boyd Dalrymple, defensive captain. He's got 95 stops on the season, and really a very heady player. As a sophomore, he was employed as a tight end. As a junior, he played defensive end, and now he's played his more natural position in this defense, which is middle linebacker.
Ard to punt it away. Pep Miller rates. Check that, excuse me. Newman awaits. Had a good punt return last time, and will get dropped just shy of the 40-yard line. That's a 13-yard return, so good punt returns early on for Oak Grove in this game. 32-yard punt by Ard that time.
And he gathers the ball in, and Newman, we tell you how explosive he can be. Started as a freshman, so he's been here before. He could be an all-state performer as a return specialist or as a wide receiver. And he gives that element of speed to that offense.
Look out, Brown with the handoff, cracking through tacklers. Looks like he's got the first down, and 11-yard pickup for tailback Kevin Brown. Roman Robinson finally with the stop.
Kevin Brown, touchdown Brown, they call him. Good cut right here off a good block, and breaks the tackle by Sarah Johnson. You know, he's got great leg drive, not a big guy, 167 pounds, and he reminds many of a Warwick Dunn in his high school days, and went on to Florida State, now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of the same explosive ability. 17 years old. He's going to make someone a great catch the next level.
First man through looked to be House, and it is. As Matt House will dive up, and it's interesting the formation that Oak Groves will run, putting Brown so deep in a 3-back set. Have 2 backs almost in a split veer, and then way back in the formation is Brown.
Good tackle right there by Sarah Johnson. And yeah, you know, it gives Brown the opportunity to kind of pick and choose, use his vision, which he has great field vision, and pick his hole.
There he is, making his decision. He'll make his cut at the 45 in order to be 3rd down for the Tigers.
Stopping Brown is Sarah Johnson. We mentioned he's committed to the Tigers. He was a defensive tackle back as a sophomore. Moved to linebacker, was an all-state linebacker last year, was second to the team in tackles, leads the team in tackles this year. He's side-to-side performer, Gerald. He's got 90 stops, a couple of sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 interception he brought back for a touchdown. So he is all over the field on defense.
On 3rd down. Quarterback keeps as Stevens turns it up the field. He'll be shy of the 1st down. But Oak Grove has not been shy about going for it on 4th, especially in this territory.
Stevens just wanted to kind of freeze those linebackers with a little play fake. Didn't fake Deshaun Lee very well, and Lee kind of crashes in from the outside. Boy, he's very active as well. Deshaun Lee with 49 stops. He's got 11 sacks on the season, and from his defensive end position, we've talked about it. Most teams run away from him, and boy, I'll tell you what, he is a total package, all-district type of defensive end.
Brown looking for a block, gets one downfield, got the 1st down and more. Stopped just short of the 30-yard line. Roman Robinson makes the stop, but not before Brown picks up 17 yards. And when I tell you, Renee, when he makes the decision, he'll explode in a hurry and go forward.
Good occupying block down the field, number 12 right here. He cuts off that block. Newman making a block for Brown, and he was supposed to go outside, but Newman had to take the defensive back to outside, so he cut it back up the field. And good decision, good block by Newman.
That's the end of the 1st
And we've played one quarter of football here at the Superdome in the single-A state championship. Tigers are on top, 7-0 of the Roos. First and 10 for the Tigers, as they will now move it right to left. Little motion early there. House with the jump. Brown has the ball. He'll be wrapped up in the backfield and dropped. I tell you, this Oak Grove team has been able to score points, Renee, all year long. Their closest contest and final score, Mangum 35-13. That came in week 7. They turned around and beat Mangum in the quarterfinals 41-13. But gee whiz, they've had some gaudy scores. 53, 41, 62, 45, 42, 41, 35, 50, and 66 in the regular season. I think they beat my Aunt Bernice there in week 10, 66-6. Then 68, 50, 41, and 40 in the playoffs. These guys can score some points. Look out, wide open near the corner of the end zone, and unable to come up with it is Newman. Stevens had him, but Newman couldn't bring it down.
And Newman tried to pull it in. It was not an easy catch, one he probably should have made, and if he has another chance, he probably would make it, but could not pull it in. And sometimes it's what seems to be the easy ones are the toughest ones to catch. That would have been catch number 13 on the season. He could be an all-stater with his abilities. Usually has great hands, good blockers, sacrifices. As you mentioned, a very unselfish sophomore receiver.
Stevens on the flare, tries to get it out to Cato, and that ball will be whistled dead, an incomplete pass. And I'll tell you, just to go back to that play, and there's a flag on the play as well, to the play, the previous play to Newman, that play's worked now twice. Going downfield to Newman, that is. He was open on the last one, scored on the previous one.
Stevens tries to look him off and look to the left and come back to the right to Cato. It didn't seem to work. Threw the pass a little too tall and couldn't come up with it. But you know, Cato is a kind of guy, a senior, started his first sophomore season, his first game, came up with a couple of touchdowns, 2 or 3, he had 12 on the season, but he has been a big play performer, number 1 Gavin Cato, since he stepped on the field for the Oak Grove Tigers. Good front four for the Kentwood Kangaroos. Great mobility, size, and that is the strength, along with inside linebacker Sarek Johnson.
Stevens looks to throw, looks downfield, unable to hook up with Justin Bowman, who had the only catch in the win last week against Port Sulphur to put Oak Grove into this title game. Kentwood, of course, defeating Lauraville last week, 28-7.
Stevens drops back and throws into double coverage to Bowman. He's got 7 catches on the season, 3 of them going for touchdowns, and just couldn't complete that pass.
Stevens back for the kick. Kick it off to Winters. From the 15, he'll get a good block. Turn the corner. He's got some room. Look out. One man back. And that one man will wrap him up and drop him, as Chris Stevens had to come back, the punter and quarterback, to make that stop. But an outstanding return by Mitch Winters, a 57-yard return.
And Mitch Winters may have injured an ankle. Boy, good block downfield as he begins his run. Looked like Ramon Robinson did block, and Sarek Johnson is escorting down the field. Good block right here. Didn't stick with it, and credit the punter for outstanding play, preventing a touchdown.
McKnight, inside handoff. Sarek Johnson on the carry.
We talked about Sarek Johnson, very natural, fluid athlete, has a 2.6 grade point average. He's the best player wherever he plays, be it inside linebacker, running back, strong safety, could be a wide receiver. Got some good hands, a 3-year starter, and they use him quite a bit. He's got 5 grabs as well for 117 yards.
On second down, nice offensive surge that time. Mac Garrett, the fullback, submarining below, and it'll be third down. And I tell you, after that big special teams play, the Roos are in a good spot here just outside of the 20-yard line.
Good blocking up front, a good chop right there allows a lane to run in for Garrett. And Lee, Armstrong, Gordon, Poole, and Smith doing a good job up front as Derek Gordon, just a sophomore, number 56, steps over the ball.
Once again, fullback Garrett. Nowhere to go right there. He goes over the left-hand side.
Kentwood in their two tight end set. They call it their big set with two tight ends on short yardage. And it's still going to be 4th and short. Boy, I'm impressed with that young man, Ryan Gregory, number 78. They think they have high hope for him, only a sophomore. Hard worker, tough. He's like a street brawler. Boy, I tell you, he likes to mix it up in that pit.
And the Roos will take a timeout. 7-0 Tigers on top, but Kentwood trying to gain the equalizer with over 9 minutes left here in the second quarter. Returned by Mitch Winters. And score for the first time in this game. And I tell you, a game we thought would be offensive has been defensive to begin with.
They go to that two tight end big set for this short yardage situation.
Handoff. Don't know if he got there.
Did not make it.
Sarek Johnson stopped cold at the line of scrimmage, and it looks like the Oak Grove defense will have held. Yes. Be first down for the Tigers.
And it just clogged that middle. Desmore comes from the outside, and just a mass of jerseys in that pile is Boyd Dalrymple. And Boyd Dalrymple bench presses 360 pounds. You know he's going to shed blockers and find the ball carrier, and did just that. Sarek Johnson goes back to his defensive position, and great job by the Oak Grove Tiger defense.
Chris Stevens will look to keep the ball, and it's a fumble. It looks like the Tigers have recovered. Let's see who comes up with this ball. It was just popped by one of the Kangaroos.
Deshaun Lee popped it out. And boy, they are lucky to come up with that. That had been deep in their own territory.
Looked to be the center there, Renee, coming up with the ball. Adam Holland for Oak Grove. Right place, right time. And a pickup on the play of 4 yards. House on the second carry.
They use, you know, Brown has such great outstanding speed to bounce it outside. Gerald House is that guy between the tackles. First-year starter, great vision, good cuts for a fullback. And you know, he's a little different. He's not that 230-pound fullback. He's 178 pounds, and they don't have a big backfield to begin with, but a lot of speed, great vision, both of those runners.
Stevens on the keeper again. He'll have the first down. So he turns it up the field, up to the 31-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers. So they are able to move the chains as they were caught deep in their own territory. They lead 7-0 with just inside of 8 minutes remaining here in this second quarter in this Gatorade Superdome Classic.
Well, he fakes the ball to House and follows him right behind. Stevens with a nice pickup. Jonathan Armstrong with a stop. And we're going to talk about some of those interior linemen for both teams. They got some major college prospects on both sides of the ball.
Early movement there. And this one will be against the Roos.
You know, defensively up front for the Roos, the best player is Deshaun Lee. Outside guy, Southern Grambling and Northeast, Northwest, and Magnesia looking at him. And Johnny Poole is another guy inside, a 4-year starter. He's got Grambling and Southern hot on his trail. 6'2", 225, will probably be an outside linebacker, defensive end. Boy, I tell you, 2 big guys. We'll talk about the rest in just a moment.
Brown, nowhere to go. Interior of that Kentwood line. Sarek Johnson was there. Also give credit to Jonathan Armstrong. 2 of them combining on the stop.
really nowhere to run. And the thing about Kentwood is they feel they've got so much experience. You know, this is an experience coming here, and they've been here before 3 times. So it's not new to them, and all the luster of getting here and being in awe of the Superdome and the Classic is not anything they have to deal with.
On second down, McKnight looks to pass, looking downfield for House, and you can credit Tim Carter for Kentwood getting Stevens to throw that ball maybe a little bit before he was ready and set to do.
And yeah, he definitely pressured Stevens. We talked about that front. Jeremy Williams, also a defensive tackle, and probably the best long range may be a guy named Paul Dyson, number 78 defensive end. Only a junior, Gerald, 6'4", 245. He's got LSU and Tulane watching his progress, just a junior, 4'8", 40. Boy, he's going to be a good one.
Ball overthrown for Brown, and this play worked because Brown was held up at the line of scrimmage on third down. The Oak Grove Tigers will be forced to kick as one of the Kangaroo players, Dennis Walls, slow to get up, but Brown was hung up at the line of scrimmage as he tried to release on the screen and couldn't catch up to the ball. Watch him, 22 coming out of the backfield, right there.
Stevens tries to air it out, and Dennis Walls comes through and tries to break it up. And boy, he had a leg injury as he leaped and tried to intercept or at least break it up. And it was just a little too tall for Brown, and they smelled it out. Also, credit the pressure with not allowing Stevens to set up and have that screen work the way it's supposed to work.
The Louisiana High School Athletic Association thanks State Farm Insurance and its Louisiana State Farm agents. State Farm sponsors all state championship trophies and awards in all 23 sports of the LHSAA. The LHSAA also thanking the following: Gatorade, the official thirst quencher and title sponsor of the Superdome Classic. Your local Southern Quality Ford dealer, presenting sponsor of the Superdome Classic. Baden, the official game ball. Louisiana Coca-Cola Bottlers, title sponsor of the annual High School All-Star Game. Bank One, sponsor of the LHSAA All-State All-Academic Awards. Sports Care of Louisiana, the LHSAA's official healthcare network, providing trainers at all LHSAA events. Reebok, the official shoe of the LHSAA. Piccadilly Cafeterias, proud sponsor of the Piccadilly Cup, the LHSAA All Sports Award. And Mushmack Photography, the official photographer. Bad punt snap, and Kentwood looks like they're going to come up with it. The ball still loose on the turf, and it's recovered in the end zone for the touchdown. Sarek Johnson, the man at the bottom of the pile, comes up with that ball after the bad exchange between the center and punter for Oak Grove, as Chris Stevens is that punter. It sails clear over his head, and there's an onslaught of white jerseys going for it.
He just couldn't come up with it, and here, getting close to it, is Paul Dyson. He couldn't come up with it. Sarek Johnson looks like the old Oakland Raider.
The Fumblerooski.
Fumblerooski. Well, I tell you, goes to show special teams how important they are. This touchdown comes at a great time at the 6:34 mark, tying the game up. And we got a barn burner going on here, Gerald.
Extra point is up and good, so we've seen some big plays, a fumble recovery leading to a score for Oak Grove, and a breakdown on special teams by the Tigers. And we're tied up with 6.5 minutes left here in the second quarter of this Gatorade Superdome Classic. And the kickoff coming down to Brown just outside of his 10-yard line. Look out. He's got some speed, and look at him go. Across the 40, cuts it back, across the 50. A 44-yard kickoff return for Kevin Brown. Ronnie Wesby finally making the tackle, but Brown making some outstanding decisions on that play.
Boy, it shows how explosive he is, Gerald. And you know, the thing is that he can do it all. Being a running back or return specialist, has a entourage in front of him, follows his wedge here. One Kentwood Kangaroo gets beyond the wedge, but he just cuts it back, and that speed gets him out of trouble. Gets him at the 45-yard line of the Kentwood Kangaroos.
Brown again on the carry on first down. He'll get it down to the 42. Even when his plays don't work, Renee, it looks like he'll pick up almost 4 yards here.
This is Barry Sanders. Look, he just spins right here. Seen that before. Johnny Poole puts the hat on him, and you see why Johnny Poole's so well thought of. 4-year starter. On offense, he's just arrived on defense, really, but does a great job. Plugs that middle, and 44 stops on the season. Johnny Poole.
Tigers have all 3 of their timeouts. The Roos with but 1. Handoff down on the inside was House. He'll gain 1, maybe 2, so it'll be 3rd down for Oak Grove.
You know, Coach Carrera talked about 98 was such a dominant team. This defense is a harder worker group, takes more opportunistic, and takes advantage of the mistakes and miscues, and they don't allow you too many of those, so it makes you earn everything you can get, only giving up 11 points per game.
Brown hit at the line and goes down. He'll be shy of the 1st down. You talk about the experience. These Kentwood seniors 54-4 in their 4-year career. There's one of those Kentwood seniors right there.
Yes,
Sarek Johnson.
Boy, I tell you, he's going to be a good one wherever he goes. He sticks to his commitment at LSU, and he did commit into the Jerry DiNardo regime, but if he sticks to it with Nick Saban, he's going to make him a great, strong safety or outside linebacker. He flies around the ball, and he loves collisions, and there's quite a few of them when number 7's around.
4th down. Option out to Brown. He'll have the 1st down and more across the 30. A stiff tackle that time by Miguel McGee, but not before Brown moves the chains. A 6-yard carry.
And Brown took it to McGee. He explodes into him. Look at this. He just, boy, you got to attack that guy, Kevin Brown. You can't catch him. And McGee made the stop. Good play, but he felt the explosion of Kevin. Touchdown, Brown.
Timeout,
Kentwood will use its final timeout here in the 1st half to discuss the defensive strategy. We're knotted up at 7 with 4:21 left of this Gatorade Single-A state championship game. Good look at David Career there on the Kangaroo sidelines. He's guided this team to an 11-2 season. With Vic Dalrymple on the Oak Grove side, 13-0 this season. There's Kentwood, the ones coming into the Dome last year undefeated. Their only losses this year were to Meet, the 3A state champion, and as Brown takes the handoff, and also to St. John in a rematch of last year's state finals.
Kevin Brown, we mentioned his explosive ability. He is the number 2 man in the state in his classification in the 200-meter race, and guess the only person that can beat him was his teammate Gavin Cato. Gavin Cato is the number 1 man at the 200 meters in the state of Louisiana. So you're 1 and 2 here for the Oak Grove. That is pure speed, and they're both on offense.
Stevens out to Brown. He's got some room to work in a downfield block, and he's be 1 player shy of the end zone, and a clothesline tackle will keep him away from pay dirt. You can credit Desmond McKnight there with that touchdown saving tackle.
And McKnight makes a good tackle. He loves to demolish those running backs, and he did put the brakes on Brown right here. He got him around the top and pulled him down, stopped him from advancing any further, and it's a nice pickup. It's going to be close for the Tigers. The thing that Kentwood has to be aware of, Gerald, is that they have to watch the corners and box in, keep everything on the inside of the field. But, you know, with House and the ability that Kevin Brown possesses, and even Chris Stevens shows he's got some maneuverability that you have to be aware. They can kill you so many different ways. Consequently, that's why they score an average of 49 points per hour.
With that speed, I can see why you want to keep him on the inside. It is a 1st down. Stevens keeps it, and keeps it on the inside. And we'll make it down to the 14-yard line. We'll go Chris Stevens, another senior. As a matter of fact, 8 players on this Oak Grove team playing in this title game 2 years ago. At the time, Oak Grove was AA and lost to Ouachita Christian 53-35. But a lot of these guys back again this year. So a lot of experience on both sides of the ball in relation to playing this Gatorade Superdome Classic.
Good block last play by John Allen, left guard. 5'10", 277, bench presses 350. He's a third of 3 brothers to play interior line for the Tigers.
Brown wrapped up in the backfield and dropped. Seric Johnson applies the brakes and a 5-yard loss. So it'll be 3rd down now for Oak Grove.
And Seric Johnson just scraped off and bounced to the outside. Look at this. He's coming from his inside position, but boy, I will tell you what, he's got great pursuit abilities, great speed, 4.55. That's why so many teams are looking at him, and what an athlete he is. Case chased Kevin Brown down before he gets started. Good angle as well.
Option out to Cato. He'll try to turn the corner on 3rd down, and he'll pick up maybe 4, so let's call it 4th and 6 at the initial inspection. And Oak Grove has had great success on 4th down in this game. They had one 4th down conversion called back because of a clip. It successfully completed another.
Ramon Robinson makes the stop, and you know, he is one of just 3 freshmen to have started the program here at Kentwood. The other 2, Johnny Poole, who's now a senior, and Demetrius Hookfin, who now plays for the LSU Tigers. So Ramon Robinson is in very class company.
4th and a long 6 or a short 7. Stevens wants to pass, and the ball is almost picked off. Probably better that it wasn't. As now the Roos will get it a little bit further upfield. Cato, the intended receiver there. So ball will go over on downs. It'll be 1st and 10. Each team has failed on a 4th down conversion as well.
Gavin Cato tried to go over the top, and Stevens just launched a pass a little too tall. Desmond McKnight wanted to come up with it, but as you alluded to, Gerald, is better off that the ball fell incomplete.
Well, the Roos are a long way from the end zone, some 88 or 82 yards, I should say, and they're out of timeouts, and there's only 1:18 left here in the 2nd quarter. Sweep to the near side is flushed out. That's Kaderrell Cooper bringing that ball around the right-hand side. Oak Grove, meanwhile, has all 3 of its timeouts, but they're content to let the clock run and go into halftime with a 7-all tie. And that's a little bit of a surprise, Renee. Somewhat of a defensive struggle here in the 1st half. And the big plays have been the difference in this game. We've yet to see a long, sustained drive that has netted points.
You know, Oak Grove employs that 5-man front with 1 linebacker, but some of their responsibilities of their defensive backs are similar to a linebacker. What an impressive play this is.
Matt Garrett there carrying that ball. A 12-yard pickup and a 1st down. Clock will stop with 33 seconds left as the chains move. Let's see if the Roos go to the air.
You know, Matt Garrett has a chance to carry the ball this year. The last 2 years, he was an offensive tackle. You don't get these guys to get a chance to carry the ball very much. In fact, last year, Gerald, as a junior, he was an all-district place kicker, had a kick of 40 yards as a field goal kicker, so he's quite talented.
Official timeout as the chains are caught up on the far side. They'll unravel the chains. Clock did start the run. It's now down to 22 seconds, and as soon as the chains are figured out, they'll whistle the ball back into play, and the clock will continue to run. Both these teams will head into the halftime locker room unaccustomed to having a low-scoring, evenly fought 1st half. Both are used to dominating their opponents. Kentwood with a 28-27 overtime win against Independence. Of course, Independence losing in the 3A regional round to Edna Carr, a 3A state finalist. Interior run will net a few yards up to the 35. We talked about Matt Garrett. That was him right there, Renee, and that's how this 1st half will end. 7-all between Kentwood and Oak Grove as you're watching the single-A state championship in the Gatorade Superdome Classic.
The LHSAA welcomes those National High School Athletic Directors in attendance at this session on the 1999 Gatorade Superdome Classic.
Oak Grove to begin the process in the second half. Brown gathering the kickoff in around his 5. Look out. He's got some room. He's got a lot of room into the midfield stripe and beyond as he's finally escorted out of bounds all the way down at the Kangaroo 46-yard line. A 44-yard kickoff return to begin this second half. And I tell you, he's been a super-looking athlete this half. However, there is a flag. And it's a personal foul against Kentwood. That's going to tack on an additional 15 yards at the end of this kickoff return. So the Tigers will have excellent field position. Brown 4 carries. We'll take another look at the kickoff return. Brown 4 carries for 30 yards in the first half. He also caught a couple of passes for 16 yards. See Brown cut it to the outside there. We'll see if we can see the late hit. Right there as his legs were taken out from beneath him. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 35 of Kentwood. Counter on the inside. Gavin Cato grinds it down. Cato had 1 carry for 4 yards in the first half. Your leading Kentwood rushers, Winters, 3 carries, 11 yards. Winters also had 1 catch for 32 yards as McKnight was 2 of 7 for 37 yards. Stevens through the air for Oak Grove, 3 of 4 for 57 yards. Total offense in the first half between these two teams, 42 yards for Kentwood and an even 100 for Oak Grove as they'll face a 2nd down and 3. Inside trap goes to House. And he'll be stopped short of the 1st down.
They run from that power I left, and you know, that last play, it gives them a little more blocking strength up front when they do go with Kevin Brown. As you alluded to earlier in the contest, Gerald, it does give you an extra blocker up front, and you know, it's a little different dimension. So when you run that power fullback, you know, it's a little different dimension of surprise, if you will.
And one of those guys actually a wing back, but lines well off the line of scrimmage. Stevens on the keeper. Got the 1st down. So we've seen a lot of big plays in this game. A fumble recovery leading to an Oak Grove 1-play touchdown pass. Special teams mistake by the Oak Grove Tigers turning into points for Kentwood, and here a big kickoff return by Brown has put the Tigers in excellent field position. Near side option, that's Brown. Turns the corner and dives forward. Alfred Ard comes up to knock him out of bounds.
You know, the thing about Kevin Brown, too, is besides his athletic ability, Gerald, good pitch right here with the inside hand. He just is a tireless worker, and he works very tirelessly in the weight room, and, you know, he just gives it everything he's got. He's got 8 touchdowns of 60 yards or more, 16 of 40 yards or more. He's got 4 games in which he had 4 touchdowns, 8 games in which he scored 3 touchdowns. What a phenomenal scoring machine he is.
Brown will get it down to the 10-yard line where he's knocked out of bounds. An 11-yard pickup. Oak Grove moving well with the football to begin this second half.
And again, just pitch it back to Kevin Brown. Let him use his eyes. Good cut right here. Cut inside, bounce it inside and out back outside again. In hot pursuit are Seric Johnson, Ramon Robinson. And making the stop is Ard, as you mentioned. Ard with that exceptional 4.45 speed. So he's equal to the task for Kevin Brown.
It'll be 1st and goal for the Tigers. Brown, interior of the line, maybe 1 yard.
The thing you have to do with a Brown is you cannot over pursue. Just now you can see white jerseys holding their ground. You can't see it in this camera shot. but they held their ground until he made his move and then collapsed. Paul Dyson making a good play right there, filling the lane. Good look at him right there. We talked about him. He'll be a primary recruit for the year 2000. He's got 27 tackles on the season, 5 sacks. Physically very, very gifted. He'll run right at you, and he used to be a good basketball player, concentrates on football now, and done a good job.
Stevens turns it back up near the goal line, leans in for the score. Touchdown, Oak Grove, a 9-yard touchdown run, gives the Tigers the lead once again. 6 plays to cover the 35 yards after the outstanding kickoff return by Brown to set up the Tigers.
And Stevens with a spinning move, another spin right here on McKnight. And boy, he almost lost the ball. He broke the plane, but he did lose control of the ball, but not before. He broke the plane into the end zone for a score.
Pep Miller's extra point is up and good. And with 9:07 left here in the 3rd quarter, it's a 1-touchdown advantage for Oak Grove. We'll see what Kentwood can do with their initial offensive possession of the 2nd half.
Made a good decision right here. It was an option type play. He made the decision to keep the ball instead of pitching out Sora Crease, and hit that little cavity in the middle of the fence and hit the end zone for the score. Extra points good. 9:07 to go here, Gerald, in the 3rd stanza. 14-7. We got a good game here between the Tigers and the Kentwood Kangaroos.
Of course, the seeding's new this year, Renee, and the seeding's being used to determine who plays who in each round, or at least in the 1st round, to go from there. And in the 5 classifications, only 2 number 1 and number 2 seeds have made it to the finals. In 5A with Evangeline West Monroe, which is later on today, and then this game here today with Oak Grove seeded 1st, and Kentwood, the 2-time defending state champ, seeded 2nd. Ard gathers the kickoff in at his own 9. Wow, he's met it to 25, but bounces out of that tackle and will make it up to the 35-yard line. Dion Burrell there to hit him first, but it was a 24-yard return for Ard.
Burrell made the initial contact, but did not wrap him up. Dion Burrell, normally a defensive end, number 34, you'll see coming to your picture. And Ard is a phenomenal athlete. 4.45 right there. Good collision, but Ard keeps his balance. Ard has the likes of Tulane, McNeese, Nichols State, and Northwest Louisiana after his services. 3.6 GPA, 17 on the ACT test. And you know, as an athlete, even though he attended a meet, he's a lot like a former high school star right here, P.J. Franklin, who plays for Tulane Green Wave, now on the roster of the New Orleans Saints.
McKnight's handoff to Johnson garners 1, maybe 2 yards. Tough inside run, it'll be 2nd down.
Fine player right there, Sarek Johnson. Kind of a team leader, and much like many of these Kentwood Kangaroos, Gerald plays both sides of the ball. Ard, Poole, Winters, Johnson, they do it all. Tough player right there, Dalrymple.
Second and 8. McKnight looks to pass, looks down the field, complete. What a catch. Kendarrell Cooper with the reception, and Kentwood is in Oak Grove territory.
That's an unbelievable catch. That's a great catch by Cooper, and pulls it down even though he's closely guarded. Coverage can't be much better than it is right here, Gerald. That's just good coverage, good catch right there, and comes down with it with a nice catch at the 43-yard line, and the Kangaroos just won't go away.
22-yard reception that time. I tell you, talk about concentration. You saw it right there. Fixated on the ball. The double reverse to the inside doesn't work. Collision between a couple of the Kangaroo players as Ard then is swarmed over by a sea of black.
That play didn't go as drawn up. It looked more like Alphonse and Gaston. You know, they had a little bit of a collision, not on the same page right here. Someone was supposed to go inside, someone outside, and could not decide. A little bit of a collision. Did come up with a couple of yards, so lost the yard. Jackson could have been a lot worse. No fumble involved.
McKnight looks again down the field. He's got a man open and can't come up with it. Mikkel McGee was down there and could not come up with McKnight's pass right at the goal line. but he did have separation on the Oak Grove defensive back.
McGee with that 4.55 speed, only a sophomore, was wide open. And you can see McKnight just airs it out. Great spiral on this ball right here. Good turnover. And could not come up with it. And McGee, boy, I tell you what, he's sick right now. He's the kind of guy who will go get it. He's also a backup quarterback and play quarterback for you at a pinch.
Look out, ball on the ground. It'll be recovered, knocked out of McKnight's hands, and it looks like Deshaun Lee coming up with the ball. This will be the last man to pull himself up. And so the fortunes of the Kentwood offense turning drastically here. They'll be forced to punt after that 8-yard loss. They're facing 4th down instead of a possible scoring proposition 2 plays ago.
And yes, and they had an opportunity to tie this game up and couldn't come up with the big plays. And you know, in games like this, Gerald, with 2 defenses as stiff as these 2 are, the opportunities don't present themselves too often. Oak Grove giving up 6 points a game, their first team defense at least, and so these points come at a premium.
Ard's punt. Take a big Kentwood roll, and wow, look at this. Bites down inside the 3-yard line. Eric Newman could only watch it. A 50-yard kick. And Oak Grove, if they are to score on their second possession of this second half, they'll have to go a ton to get it there. 97 yards, in fact. Oak Grove team averaging 50 yards, or 50 points per game in the playoffs. Kentwood 39, and it's 14-7 here. Tigers over the Kangaroos midway through the 3rd quarter. House on the inside. He'll be dropped at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down.
You know, House has got 828 yards, averaging 6.2 yards per carry. So he's quite a weapon up front, but Kevin Brown is the primary weapon for them. Boy, they clog him up, and great job jamming the middle. Jeremy Williams and company for Kentwood.
From the end zone. Jump ball around the 20, and Oak Grove's going to come up with it. That's Cato with the ball. That's a 40-yard completion. Gee whiz. I thought McGee was going to have a chance to come up with that ball, the defensive back. He was the receiver that, of course, was unable to come up with a long pass moments ago, but he had a beat on the ball, as well did Cato.
And Cato just took it away from him, and then a major collision there between he and McKnight almost prevented anybody from even coming close to Cato, but Cato does come up with a major gain here and gets him out of the shadow of their end zone.
Brown will try the left side and find it to his liking out of a 5-yard gain. Just outside of midfield.
Well, the Kentwood defense is being really pushed to the limit right here now, and if Oak Grove were to go up again with some type of score this series, it's going to be tough. Kentwood, again, these points have come at a premium, Gerald, and both teams don't give up points too often.
Quarterback keeper on the option, and it was a good decision. Deep into Kentwood territory, run out of bounds. Inside of the 35, Shedrick McKnight finally making the stop.
You know, we're talking about points at a premium. Remember, Kentwood got their points on a special teams play, so their offense haven't really produced anything as yet. Great block downfield. Great occupying block. Looked to be Eric Newman. Boy, that is not easy to keep a defensive back occupied for that length of time as Stevens skirts around the left side with Kevin Brown at his side. Boy, you can't see it, but really a great job, Eric Newman. He is just a sophomore to total packages. Matt Howes gains a couple of yards.
Ball spotted actually outside of the 35. We told you inside of the 35. First down was made at the 37. And that last pickup of House was 6, so it'll be 2nd and 4 now. from the 31. Brown on the option. Near side, fights through some tackles and looks to have yet another Oak Grove Tiger first down.
You know, with that option play, the way they run it, the defensive backs must really skate to the sidelines as quickly as possible, and pursuit may come from the inside, a la Sarek Johnson or maybe a Deshaun Lee or some of the interior people must really, as you see, Johnson is starting to bounce to the left side. Good block right here on him. And Ramon Robinson turns him inside, which is his job, and lets the pursuit catch up with. That's the way you play that option.
And it is a first down. It'll be 1st and 10. Brown spinning, stopped short of the 20.
You can't get a good shot on this guy, Joe. Sorry, he's spin out of a tackle, and you know, he's not big, 167, but powerful legs from the waist down, and just don't get a good shot. Look, Sarek Johnson draws a beat on him, but can't wrap.
He's the guy credited with the tackle after the 4-yard pickup, where it's 2nd down and 6. Stevens on the keeper. Deshaun Lee there for the stop. This Kentwood squad in its 3rd consecutive trip to the Dome. They've had 2 championships during that stretch. Lost 3 years ago in double overtime to Southern Lab. It was a super game. So they could be possibly going for their 4th consecutive title today, and they would enter elite company. That's never been done. Brown on the pitch out. We get inside the 20. Or actually, 4 consecutive titles has been done twice. I should say most recently. Renee, your buddy over at Haynesville, Red Franklin, did it in 93, 94, 95, and 96. And Faraday did it in 53, 54, 55, and 56. And we'll also have another 4-time consecutive state champion, as both West Monroe and Evangel have each won 3 consecutive games. Somebody's got to win that game for a 4th today. Curtis could possibly do it as well later on today. But the Roos going for their 3rd straight. Oak Grove going for its 1st since '91. And on 4th down and short, Brown takes the pitch and looks to have the first down. I tell you, Oak Grove not shy about going for a first down on 4th down.
You know, you look at the front, and Kevin Brown is getting the credit, as is Stevens. But, you know, blocking up front, Earl Travis, bench presses 280. Nathan Bolden, 350. John Allen, left guard, 350. These guys are weight trained. They tore a page out of the Nebraska, Alabama pages of weight training and done a great job up front.
Kangaroos take a timeout. It's 14-7. It's Oak Grove on top.
National studies show that students who participate in high school activities, like music, sports, and drama, not only have better grades and attendance, they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Oak Grove, just inside of the 15-yard line of Kentwood. This is an impressive drive. Remember now, it started way back at the 2-yard line. Straight ahead power running. Football's loose on the turf. Who comes up with it? Kentwood says they have it, and they do. Wow. Johnny Poole coming up with the fumble recovery when it looked like Oak Grove was posturing to get back into the end zone.
Well, 96-yard drive doesn't end.
I don't know about that one.
A 96-yard drive will end right here as the Kentwood Kangaroos, and some of the people feel there's a questionable call. So
I have no doubt that was a questionable. It looked like the ground caused that fumble. Of course, there's no instant replay in high school.
And so we will go with the Roos with the 1st and 10 from their own 2-yard line.
Oh, I don't think he got out of the end zone. Safety, Oak Grove.
Well, if that was a bad call, poetic justice, if in fact it was a bad call, and now the Roos find themselves 14 points behind as a handoff to Sarek Johnson.
Who does your math?
Well, I thought it was a touchdown. It was a safety.
Well, they're kind of the same thing. Both happen in the end zone, you know.
Densmore with the stop, and now the Roos, we have an opportunity to kick the ball away with a free kick. And
well, I tell you, with all the talk about offense coming into this game, the way the two defenses have played here today, it's fitting that one of the defenses come up with a touchdown, or with a safety here in this case. And we saw special teams touchdown earlier as the Tigers take a 16-7 advantage in the waning moments of the 3rd quarter.
That could loom large, as touchdowns have been very, very tough to come by, and now that'll put them as a 9-point deficit, which would be tough to make up.
The free kick coming down to Mario Jones. Jones will return it 16 yards, and Oak Grove will have good field position.
Mario Jones with that 4.6 40 scoots it back to good field position about the 46-yard line of Oak Grove, and now the Roos are going to have to come up with a big play here at the 1:15 mark here to go in the 3rd quarter, and time is beginning to run out on Kentwood.
We're going to take another look at that safety in just a moment. Renee, has incredible forward motion by the Oak Grove defensive line. Look out. Quarterback Stevens steps into the secondary. That's a not big pickup of 12 yards. That'll move the chains. It'll be a 1st down for Oak Grove.
You know, the thing about the Kentwood defense, they've prided themselves on defensive secondary. Here you go right here as you get an opportunity to see that handoff to Sarek Johnson as he's corralled in the end zone. You know, he looked like he stepped out. He looked like he may have stepped out. Densmore was the first to arrive, but his initial contact looked like it may have been beyond the end zone, you know, beyond the mark.
If it was, it wasn't by much, as Oak Grove will take a timeout. Leading this one 16-7, 1:09 left in the 3rd quarter. Talking about Kentwood going for a 3rd consecutive title. How many schools have had 3 consecutive titles, including the Kentwood Kangaroos? If they should do it here today, they would become the 7th school to do it. Curtis has done it 3 times. 79, 80, and 81, 83, 84, and 85, 96, 97, and 98. Evangel is also on a 3 state championship consecutive title run, 96, 97, 98. Istruma from Baton Rouge did it in 55, 56, and 57. I think that's when you started to draw Social Security back then. Jonesboro Hodge, those were some power teams, 87, 88, and 89. Tallulah in 32, 33, and 34. That's when you were old enough to be drafted. And West Monroe in 96, 97, and 98. They can make it 4 in a row. As we mentioned, Evangel could with a win, and Curtis could as well.
That's all real good stats, Joe.
Just trying to carry you there, Joe. Brown over the right-hand side will crack the 40-yard line before Tim Carter cracks him and drags him down.
At halftime, Oak Grove could only muster 57 yards passing. You know, that's one thing as we watch Stevens hand off to Kevin Brown. He bounces it outside. The Roos are equal to the challenge and only give up a couple of yards on this play. But, you know, the Kangaroos have prided themselves, defensive secondary, only allowing 532 yards total passing for the season. That gives you about 30 yards per game per opponent. And they come up with 29 interceptions. That secondary is devastating. Oak Grove has gotten points, but it's been on the ground.
Brown, the carrier, over the left-hand side, down to the 34. McKnight comes up to make the stop, and it'll be a 3rd down for Oak Grove.
Stevens with a depth ball handling, faking it, putting it in the belly of House, and then pitching outside to Kevin Brown. Tripped up by McKnight, comes up from his free safety position. He's one of the hardest hitters in that secondary, and we mentioned interceptions. He's got 6 on the season as we come to the end of the third period.
On to quarter number 4 in this single-A state championship game. The Tigers on top of the Roos by 9. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Big hole. The fullback House pounding through across the 25 down to the 23-yard line, and you saw Renee Brown going off to the side. The defense had to respect the fact that Brown might have gotten a pitch. That opened up some middle room there for House in that 12-yard run.
House with a good cutback right here. We mentioned he's got good vision, good cutback ability as a fullback, and picks up a nice gain for a 1st down for the Tigers.
Here's the pitch out to Brown. Hog collared and tied up there by Carl Morris, the 5'11", 205-pound junior.
And Morris, you know, Morris is a all-district returner, but it's as a center, I should say, and he does a good job from his inside linebacker position. It's kind of tough to replace, plays that middle, plugs it up, and makes a good stop on Kevin Brown.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Sarek Johnson, the guy down on the ground, he's very slow to get up as he's being attended to. Brown, 21 carries for 89 yards thus far, but he's also made big plays catching the ball and returning kickoffs. So it's been a well-rounded performance for him in this title game. Oak Grove, of course, winning the title back in '91 before losing the semis last year to Riverside 27-26. They were here 2 years ago. So we'll take another look at the potential injury there to Johnson. You can see his right knee coming down to the turf. Oak Grove, of course, 2 years ago losing to Ouachita Christian in the AA state finals 53-35.
He may have been a bruise to his knee if he hit that turf as hard as it looked like he did, and that doesn't give very much. You know, and your shoes kind of stick to that a little bit, don't give as much, and the ligaments take quite a pounding. Sometimes you're not used to playing on the surface. It takes some adjustments to become acclimated to the surface.
I talked a moment ago about Brown's yardage on kickoff returns and receptions. He's got 89 yards on the ground, but 206 all-purpose yards thus far in this game. So a big reason the Tigers are on top 16-7 is because of Brown.
And it looked like his foot just caught the surface and did not give. He tried to make a cut back, so the ligaments in that knee may have taken a bit of a shot. As you can see, right as he tried to cut back, you can see right here, his knee gave in, bent in. Boy, he just missed the contact between those two, hit the surface. That could have been pretty dangerous, pretty severe. As a young fan watches from the side. So they're still attending to Sarek Johnson at the 11:31 mark here in the 4th quarter, and Oak Grove on top 16-7.
Johnson coming to the sideline under assistance, so he is putting some weight on that injured leg. That's a good sign. Don't know if we'll see him back today, but as you've mentioned, Renee, he's got certainly a future playing on the next level.
Yeah, well, he's going to, excuse me, make someone a strong safety, probably, and he has made a commitment to LSU if he sticks to it. He'll have some options. He'll play and be a primary defensive player wherever he goes.
Stevens to Brown, big hole, blasting across the 15. He'll drag tacklers down to the 10-yard line. A 12-yard pickup for Kevin Brown, who looks like he's getting stronger as the game is wearing on.
You know, Brown is not only a outstanding football player. We mentioned he's a great shooting guard in basketball, and number 2 in the 200 meters in track behind teammate Gavin Cato. And boy, he's that total package, can do it on the field. And again, Northeast Louisiana Tech are looking at him.
Here he comes the other way. Met in the open field and dropped. You won't see that happen very often. Excellent open field tackle that time by Cedric Addison, the junior, 5'10", 170 from his quarterback spot. A good form tackle, and hung on to him until the officials blew the play dead.
And Cedric Addison broke his hand. You can see him wearing a cast right there. He broke his hand against Haynesville in the playoffs, and he's sporting that cast, but he does a good job. And looks like Kevin Brown may have had one too many fakes, faked it outside, inside, and Addison caught him going the other way.
2nd and 9 from the 10-yard line. Wow. Nowhere to go on the inside, as Stevens is wrapped up by Jerome Williams, the senior tackle.
And Deshaun Lee comes from the pursuit from the weak side as they jam the middle, and Williams doesn't allow him to go anywhere. And watch, here comes Deshaun Lee. Weight trained, he loves that weight room, a fanatic, anchors that defensive line. And boy, number 75, Southern Grambling, Northwest Louisiana McNeese are among his suitors. And boy, he's got 11 sacks, 49 stops on the season. And boy, he's going to be a good one. Probably an outside linebacker, Deshaun Lee.
Oak Grove wants to take a timeout on 3rd and 9 from the 10-yard line. They'd like to pad their 16-7 lead. The Roos would like to keep them out of the end zone and get their hands on the ball. They need to score twice to take the lead in this one. Say, no, it's not us.
We don't have any CDs. Our CDs are not selling well at all.
No, your CDs aren't selling well at all. Mine are doing just fine. Britney Spears, eat your heart out. I've sold a few CDs in my time. Renee, coming back into the game, Sarek Johnson has made it back into the game defensively, number 7. This is Brown on the 3rd down carry. He'll be close to the goal line and close to a 1st down as well. Now he's over 100 yards on the ground, 111 yards on 20 carries. They'll measure. They're close enough to measure.
And you can see him weaving, running through the landmines, picking up yardage as McKnight finally brings him to a halt, puts the brakes on the senior running back, Kevin Touchdown Brown. 36 touchdowns coming into this game, and what an athlete he is. Warwick Dunn type of athlete, kind of weaves and bounces, and great acceleration. Vic Dalrymple and staff do an outstanding job for the Tigers. Oak Grove.
Well, 4th down once again, Renee. We'll see the Tigers go for it yet another time, and why not? Last time they were down here, their best offense was their defense when Kentwood had the ball. Let's see if they can punch it in. Quarterback keeper in for the score on the option. Chris Stevens had the option to go to Brown, but kept it himself and turned it into a score. And Oak Grove now puts up almost an insurmountable 2-touchdown lead over Kentwood.
Now they have at 22 points with the 23rd point attempt upcoming. It's going to be tough for the Kangaroos to come back from this deficit.
Extra point is good, and it's a 23-7 game with 9:08 left here in the 4th quarter. Oak Grove looking to claim its first state title since '91 and end a string of 2 consecutive titles by Kentwood.
And Stevens goes in for yet another touchdown. Time of possession after 3 quarters of play, 24-40 for the Tigers, 11-20 for the Roos, and total offense 251 for the Tigers, 81. So the score pretty much indicates how this game has gone.
And Renee, that was the 6th time this game that Oak Grove has attempted a 4th down conversion. They've converted 4 of those 6 4th down attempts. After at halftime, the offensive yardage was in favor of the Tigers, 100-42. Now through 3 quarters, it's up to 251-81.
Well, keep in mind too that Kangaroos only got that 1 score on a special teams play. The opportunity to score was thwarted when the wide receiver couldn't gain the handle here earlier in the 3rd quarter for Kangaroo.
High kick. Return of 12 yards will be back across the 35. as Shedrick McKnight has that return. That scoring drive, 8 plays, 53 yards. Some happy Oak Grove fans. What a drive they had in front of them, huh? About as north as you can get and still be in Louisiana.
They're not far. They're closer to Canada than they are New Orleans, I would think. That's quite a drive where they've come from, close to the Arkansas border.
But when it's for a state championship, I think you'll be happy to make it. On the reverse and the pass downfield, looking for Ard. He comes up with the ball.
Wow.
What a catch. Outstanding. Desmond McKnight's pass complete to Alfred Ard, and Kentwood with a little chicanery. Reached the ball down the field on a 37-yard completion.
That shows you, Gerald, why Ard is the go-to guy as Desmond McKnight airs it out, and Ard just out-leaps the defender at that 4.45 speed. If he turns on him, he's gone. But he does a great job. Last year, again, the MVP in the Superdome Classic with 3 interceptions on the evening.
2 of those for touchdown. And this ball's picked off by Cato. McKnight's pass batted at the line. Cato has it, and he's got some room to move. Look out, turns the corner. Tight ropes the sideline, cuts it back against the grain, and he's finally driven down inside the 20, all the way down at the 15-yard line.
And boy, you can hear the air coming out of the balloon of Kentwood as that ball was batted in the air, and Gavin Cato comes up with yet another play. Comes up returning at 34 yards in length after the interception.
Brandon Griffiths on that tip, and Cato's got some speed. He got outside.
Cato with 4.5 speed, and now he gives great field position as he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, clearly in the official right there. That was a good call.
And so it halts his progress as Deshaun Lee was, among others, in on the tackle. But the Tigers are driving once again, 8:25, and they are looking to eat up clock at this point.
The Roos with 2 timeouts, Oak Grove with 1. But the Tigers have that 23-7 advantage. Stevens beneath center. It's Brown time. Bouncing off tackle, still going in the secondary. Inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line. A 9-yard pickup that time for Kevin Brown, the senior tailback.
Keep in mind, too, this young man is 17 years old. He's got a great, bright future ahead of him as, you know, they had a good shot at him. In fact, he broke a tackle in the middle and still had enough strength to move on as Jonathan Armstrong couldn't corral him. Johnny Poole with a shot on him right there, and just is missing tackles, or breaking tackles, as you'd say, and nice run.
Timeout for Kentwood as they'd like to discuss it defensively with just outside of 8 minutes left in this Gatorade Superdome Classic in the Single A State Championship. Knifing pickup by Brown. There's only 1 yard with which to go for Oak Grove, and House will get the call. He'll pick up the first down over the right-hand side. Well, this was a 7-all game at the half, Renee, but it's been all Oak Grove here in the second half. They've done what they've needed to do to effectively move the ball offensively. Their defense has continued to play well as Kentwood's been unable to move the ball.
Opportunistic, and again, they got a safety against Kentwood. That last play, which took a lot of starch out of their drive, and this interception by Cato really let the air out of the balloon, and this House now getting a first down as the clock continues to wind down, and you can see the emotions drain out of a Kentwood team that was sky high at halftime with a 7-all lead, 7-all tie.
Brown dancing through the line. He'll be dropped on the play by Sarek Johnson. Good to see him back in the game after a long injury timeout, and he had to be helped to the side. But gee whiz, it's a state championship. It's your senior year. You went back in.
Well, good block right there by Adam Holland as he influences Johnny Poole to the outside and giving Kevin Brown a running lane to run in, where that young man has really done an outstanding job. You know, all the damage he's done this year, and keeping in mind that he only averages 11 carries per game. If he averaged 20 carries per game, Lord knows how many yards he'd have, perhaps 3,500.
Look at House. Outside of the 10. Down to the 12. Bring the House. here in the fourth quarter.
He's trying to take it to the house, and a nice pickup by the fullback. 1-2 tandem, Brown in house, and Stevens again, also a weapon with his feet. You know, the thing about Stevens, we talked about, he was a quarterback as a freshman, had an injury as a sophomore. He was projected to be a baseball high draft choice, and if he continued on his progress, concentrated on baseball more as a pitcher and an outfielder, and had a shoulder injury, as we mentioned, and kind of curtailed that, although LSU and Tulane are still interested in the services for Stevens, low left-hander.
House again on the inside, and you notice, Renee, as Oak Grove came up to the line of scrimmage waiting, of course, there are play clocks here in the dome that the teams are able to use. That's not a luxury they normally have in most high school stadiums around the state of Louisiana. A few have play clocks, a few here in the metro New Orleans area, but here at the dome there is a play clock, so you're able to easily see. There it is, when it's about to expire. So at this juncture, Oak Grove's going to let as much time as possible kick off. Of course, the back judge also raises his hands at the 10-second mark, so even if there's not a clock, you know that, but this way, you're positive. And with 1 tick left on the play clock, this ball will be snapped, and Stevens will be driven to the ground on 2nd down. It'll be 3rd down. Our game clock shows inside of 5.5 minutes, and the Tigers on top, 23-7.
Well, Stevens has really run this show and done a great job for the Tigers, and he's had a hand in all of these scores here, be it and Johnny Poole and company just collapse on top of him. Johnny Poole, again, a 4-year starter, primarily on offense. He switched over and played some defense this year and brought a lot of speed and strength to that Rue defense.
House inside carry. He'll get down to the 10, but it'll be 4th down. And pretty good chunk of real estate to pick up, about 6 or 7 yards. And I'm sure with Oak Grove's success, they'll go for it here. They're 4 of 6 on 4th down conversions. Plus, they'd like to hang on to the ball. Oh, they're going to try a field goal. Willie Pepmiller in to attempt the 26-yard field goal. And why not? Everything else has worked for the Tigers. And Pepmiller gets a charge for kicking one in the state final. A 6-play, 28-yard drive. Timeout on the field. The Tigers in control of this one with just outside of 4 minutes remaining. Well, a disappointing defeat down I-55 for David Career and his troops, and his brother Donald winning the state championship yesterday with a meet, and the two brothers won't have the good fortune of both being state champions this year. A 16-yard kickoff return there. They've both been state champions in the past. And of course, Coach Career here for the 4th consecutive year, losing that first year to Southern Lab, then reeling off 2 straight wins over Southern Lab and St. John, and this year apparently to fall to Oak Grove.
And can't discount, though, the season that the Roos have had, 11-2, and put up some great numbers. A lot of these seniors are having an opportunity to move on to the next level, and we've seen quite a few outstanding performances on both sides of the ball here this evening.
Flare out to Ard. He wants to throw it again. Wide open down the field. The ball's received inside of the 15 and knocked down shy of the 10-yard line. That's Mikkel McGee. I tell you, that flare out pass in the backfield looked more like a forward pass than it did a lateral from our vantage point here.
Well, the official called it a fair play, and it was not a double throw. It was a lateral, and Ard launches it with Mario Jones in his face, and he finds his mark, McGee, and Ard not only can throw the ball, he can catch it as well, done an outstanding job. He turns up his efforts a notch or two when game time comes on.
Well, Kentwood's been down here before. Let's see if the Oak Grove defense can stiffen once again as the ball pops out on Kadarrell Cooper. But it will remain 2nd down in Kentwood's ball. You talk about Kentwood's season, Renee, and you talk about the Kentwood seniors. They are 54-4 coming into this game, so they've had a lot of success. They've won 8 in a row. 6 of those 8 games have been 7 or points or less. Touch pass too strong for Garrett, who's been quiet here in this second half.
That defensive front for Oak Grove, 5-man front. Josh Brown at left defensive end, Jesse Goodwin, Griffiths, Ryan Gregory. What an outstanding game he's had. And Deion Burrell have done a great job and pressured McKnight all evening long as the pass falls harmlessly incomplete to Mac Garrett.
McKnight the pass for the end zone and the score. Touchdown, Alfred Ard. 12-yard touchdown pass from McKnight to Ard. Well, we see that last touchdown now, a large one. Took him only 4 plays to travel 36 yards for the score.
And McKnight launches that pass with a little slant into Ard. It's going to be tough to beat. He beats the coverage. Mario Jones can't do much about that, and Ard comes up with his catch number 43 on the season and his 15th touchdown catch of the campaign.
On the 2-point conversion to Ard again, and he'll score it. That touchdown drive, 64 yards. 26-15. Tigers now have the 11-point lead at the 3:09 mark, and I'm sure we'll see a onside kick momentarily.
As McKnight rolls back, looks one way, throws the other, and hits a streaking Ard, a slanting Ard across the field for the touchdown. A 2-point conversion is successful and gives thanks, and a nice play. 8 points, cuts it to the deficit.
Well, Kentwood's going to have to come up with this onside kick if they want an opportunity here in this game. Here's a good look at Alfred Ard, last year's MVP. 2 scores last year on 3 interceptions. He's got a touchdown grab and a 2-point conversion grab here this afternoon. So 8 points scored this year as opposed to 12 last year.
We mentioned Tulane, McNeese, Nichols, and Northwest Louisiana are among those schools interested in his services.
Oak Grove takes it, and they're going to bring it back the distance on the onside kick. That's Eric Newman will return the kickoff, 48 yards. As old Ricky Jackson used to say, that is the kill shot.
Yeah, that may have slammed the door on an opportunity for the Roos to come back, because points have been at a premium. And when Oak Grove scores on this special teams, that's not anything you'd anticipate, as a diving attempt by Jeremy Williams was unsuccessful. And Newman, just a sophomore with a bright future, takes it back.
Pep Miller in for the extra point. A 7-all game at halftime has turned into a 33-15 bulge for the Tigers with 3:01 left in the 4th quarter in this single-A state championship game at the Gatorade Superdome Classic. .301 left here in the 4th quarter. And Oak Grove looks to win its 2nd state championship of the 1990s. They had one in 91. They look to have it in 99. Kickoff coming down to Ard. And he'll get snowed under shy of the 30, or just past the 30.
And Kentwood just trying to salvage some respect here and close the gap as they're in what seems to be an insurmountable lead, 33-15 here with 2:54 to go.
Listen to this balanced Oak Grove rushing attack. Brown's got 28 carries and 131 yards. He's your premium guy. House, 15 carries, 66 yards, and quarterback Stevens, 13 carries, 56 yards. Top rusher for Kentwood was Garrett, 5 carries, 27 yards. He did most of that in the first half. Flags as the ball is snapped. Stevens another 96 yards through the air. Brown 2 catches for 16 yards. Cato 1 for 39. Newman 1 for 41.
On the white. First down.
Kentwood whistled for a legal substitution. Only the 3rd penalty of the game against Kentwood. They've been marched backwards 20 yards. Another razzle-dazzle play. And McKnight will be snowed under inside the 15. Nowhere to run. Desmond McKnight plastered by Dion Burrell. This is the juncture of the game that you start looking for that type of razzle-dazzle.
And he was trying to get up the same type of play that was completed for a long pass to Ard earlier on last series and just couldn't come off with it after the handoff from Mac Garrett.
Got to be a mixed bag here today for David Career. Happy for his brother and his win yesterday, but I'm sure disappointed that his team can't bring home a third consecutive title to Tangipahoa. McKnight looks downfield for Ard, and that ball is almost picked off. Well, Renee, the Louisiana High School Athletic Association would like to thank State Farm Insurance and its Louisiana State Farm agents. State Farm sponsoring all state championship trophies and awards in all 23 sports of the LHSAA. And the LHSAA also thanking the following: Gatorade, the official thirst quencher and the title sponsor here at the Superdome Classic. Your local Southern Quality Ford dealer, presenting sponsor of the Superdome Classic. Baden, the official game ball. Louisiana Coca-Cola Bottlers, title sponsor of the annual high school all-star game. Bank One, sponsor of the LHSAA All-State All Academic Awards. As third and long, McKnight will roll out, toss the ball down the field. It'll be complete. And we'll have a fourth down play in just a moment. Sports Care of Louisiana, the LHSAA's official healthcare network, providing trainers at all LHSAA events. Reebok, the official shoe of the LHSAA. Piccadilly Cafeterias, proud sponsor of the Piccadilly Cup, the LHSAA All Sports Award. And Mush Mac Photography, the official photographer of all LHSAA events. This is all part of the LHSAA State Farm State Championship Network. Thanks to all these companies for their support of high school athletics in the great state of Louisiana. It'll be fourth down and 14 for McKnight and the Roos. And they'll call their final timeout with 1:15 remaining in this contest.
75 ticks to go here in the final quarter, and Oak Grove with a 33-15 lead, and Kentwood is just trying to get back on the scoreboard.
Suing here, echoing from Oak Grove all the way to Poydras Street at the Louisiana Superdome. On fourth down, McKnight overthrows his intended receiver, and the ball will go over on downs to Oak Grove. And with no timeout, the Roos cannot stop the clock. It looks like Oak Grove will take this state final and snap the two-year stranglehold that Kentwood has had on this trophy.
Oak Grove done it before in 1991. They won a state title, and the home folks are in volume here and large support. And 68 ticks to go here, and it'll be all theirs for 1999.
Of course, last year in AA, Oak Grove eliminated in the semifinals at home in a freaky 27-26 win by Riverside, who eventually lost to West St. John in the finals, the first state title for the Rams. So Oak Grove almost here last year as a 2A team. This year was a reclassification year, as it is every other year in the LHSAA, and Oak Grove was reclassified down to a single-A school. And they'll win the state championship, and they'll have a chance to defend that in 1A next year. As they'll have to snap it this time and possibly one more. As Stevens takes a knee. And they will not have to snap the ball again. So this one will come down to a 33-15 win for Oak Grove. Congratulations, guys. You do it. An undefeated season, 14-0, ends here on the carpet of the Superdome, and a win over the two-time defending state champ Kentwood Kangaroos, 33-15, the final count.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was everything that we thought it would be, and both teams fought hard to get here, and it wasn't a yellow brick road either for either one of these teams. Have both gotten here the hard way and earned it, and put up quite a showing in a fine single-A football game.
Let's go down to the field for our post-game award ceremony.
Would everyone please clear the center of the playing field for the presentation of awards? Please clear the center of the playing field for the presentation of awards. The Louisiana High School Athletic Association would like to thank State Farm Insurance and its Louisiana agents for sponsoring all state championship trophies and awards. Representing State Farm tonight, State Farm agent Ron Bush of Bastrop, State Farm agent Jack Prescott of Kentwood, State Farm agent Bob Bolton of Gramercy, State Farm agent Don Ashworth of Shreveport. Also in attendance, presenting the game ball, representing Southern Quality Ford Dealers, Miss Melissa Johnson of Sandy Davis Ford of Kentwood, and Mr. Wayne Bordeaux of Bastrop Ford. Miss Sherry Henry will represent the Gatorade Corporation. Miss Henry is the educational representative for the state of Louisiana. The first award, presented by State Farm agent Jack Prescott, is the 1999 Class 1A State Championship Trophy. The runner-up trophy goes to Kentwood High School. Head coach David Correa, principal Ann Smith. The next award is the Outstanding Player for Kentwood High School as selected by the working media. It is being presented by State Farm Representative Don Ashworth, and it goes to number 7, Sherry Johnson. The next award is the Baden Official Game Ball, presented by Wayne Bordeaux of Bastrop Ford, and it goes to Oak Grove head coach Vic Dalrymple. The next award is the Outstanding Player Award for Oak Grove, presented by State Farm agent Bob Bolton of Gramercy, and it goes to number 22, Kevin Brown. The final award, presented by State Farm agent Ron Bush of Bastrop, is the State Farm 1999 Class 1A State Championship Trophy to Oak Grove High School. Head coach Vic Dalrymple, principal Kent Davis. Once again, the LHSA would like to thank State Farm Insurance for its continued support of high school athletics. We thank Ron Bush, Jack Prescott, Bob Bolton, and Don Ashworth for their assistance with the awards in Class 1A. Also thanks to Southern Quality Ford, Miss Melissa Johnson and Mr. Wayne Bordeaux, and to Miss Sherry Henry of the Gatorade Corporation, title sponsor of the 1999 Superdome Classic. Let's have a big round of applause for the Roos and the Tigers in a great 1A matchup. We invite everyone to stick around for the Class 4A championship between the Capital Lions and the John Curtis Patriots.
Oak Grove, your state champions in single A, Renee, and they really did it in the second half. Of course, Oak Grove's roster almost twice the size of Kentwood's. A lot of the Kentwood guys going two ways, so that could have been a factor in the second half. But really, when you look back, it's the MVP of this performance, Mr. Brown, number 22, doing the deal here today for Oak Grove.
Yeah, he really came in. He was a featured guy, over 36 touchdowns, over 2,000 yards, and outstanding performance right here as Chris Stevens kicks it back to Kevin Brown. He uses that 4.5 speed to skirt the corner, get away from the would-be tacklers, and picks up a nice first down. Diving athleticism in the senior, 167-pound senior.
And here's quarterback Stevens hanging on to the ball as he'll turn it back up at the 5 and into the end zone. He looks to fumble right at the end, but not before he crosses the plane. And so Oak Grove takes this final 33-15 as they snap Kentwood's 2-year hold of the single A state championship, the first state championship for the Tigers since 1991. For my buddy Renee Nato, I'm Gerald Duhon. Until next time, saying so long, everybody.